Aston Villa 1, Man United 3. Great result. Great result. Managed the game really well. Looked like it could have been a bad one. Second half FC. That's what we do. Mason Greenwood with the really important goal today, the decisive goal. He's going from strength to strength as well. What a
Yeah,
goal.
honestly, it's weird because sometimes, like when we go a goal down nowadays, you kind of have to be happy about it because it usually turns the game around. Because
Yeah.
it was very 50-50 game. I thought we were losing the midfield battle massively in the first half. It was very, very edgy. We were getting chances, but they weren't clear-cut chances. It wasn't anything that you thought, wow, we could definitely score here. They had a few chances and they scored a great goal. Don't get me wrong, but it was a calamity of errors that scored that goal. I mean, I don't think Fred did too much wrong personally. I know people have different opinion on it. I thought he passed it back to McTominay. I thought McTominay cleared it poorly. And then Lindelof as well. I think he should have just cleared his lines. He does lack that physicality in his game sometimes. We have seen that. And that's why I feel like Maguire is so important. And I hope he's not injured because we've seen over the last few months he's been absolutely solid for us. And I think he is one of our most important players despite the criticism that he has had. But yeah, then Mason Greenwood comes on with a finish like that. I do like him on the right-hand side, but eventually I think he could be a top striker in that middle role if he keeps following Cavani. Because in the first half, I was watching it and I saw there was little runs coming from Rashford and Greenwood when the likes of Pogba, Bruno had the ball in the midfield. But then I think Ollie must have said something at half-time because we saw Mason Greenwood really making them runs, and Wan-Bissaka as well did really well getting forward today, managed to find him. And that turn and finish at the near post, everyone expects him to go to the other post. Great finish, but that is Mason Greenwood. I saw a list the other day that was top youngsters in the world. He wasn't even in it. I was like, how is the likes of, I think Saka's a good player, but Mason Greenwood's different gravy. Like he's up, like Phil Foden, I think is the top end of the young talent we've got. And I think Mason Greenwood is up there, honestly. The striking ability that he has, and now he's added that, the runs into his game and his kind of IQ, the way he holds the ball up and kind of finds players as well. I think he's going to be a massive player for us. The last time, I think Rashford's a great player for us, and I know he's injured, but after I've seen Greenwood play like over the last few months, I think he's been out playing Rashford every single time, and Rashford's meant to be one of our best players. I think, honestly, I feel like he's still a little bit underrated, not in the fan base, but through other fans. I thought he played extremely well today, and that goal was really well taken.
Yeah, he's maturing, isn't he? He's maturing. I just had this argument with Rick. You'll have to watch it to see what he said. But
please don't criticize Greenwood again.
You'll have to watch it to see what he said. But what I am seeing is just game on game improvement from him. Of course, he can't score every time. Of course, he can't spin and turn and put it in the bottom corner every game. I'm not expecting him to, but I'm actually looking at the other aspects of his game, and he's just developing at a good, steady rate. It's not like, do you know what I mean? You don't see him for 8 games, whereas then he comes in, does something, then he's just performing at a steady level, and I think he's just doing this, taking care of himself.
He's got 8 goal involvements now in his last 10 games. I mean, Ricky goes on about Dan James. He can't get near this team anymore. Martial's not even going to be able to really get in, and he's 10 times better than Dan James. I don't see a future for him after this. I'm not trying to make this about him, but I don't understand how you can try and say that he provides more to the team. He provides shape. Yeah, shape's good, but God, when you're going forward and you're looking to score a goal, Mason Greenwood's one of the biggest threats we have, along with Edison Cavani and Bruno. I mean, it's mad. I just can't see it. But anyway, I think he's going to prove a lot of people wrong.
We talk about second half FC. I was saying at halftime, yes, what we always do when we don't play very, very well in the first half. Well, a lot of people just say, wait for the second half, we'll be fine, because the stats prove that.
That usually does happen.
Exactly. But a lot of the things we do is, Cavani needs to come on, get McTominay off, or Fred, we're not controlling the game, we're doing this. And I said at halftime, I said, well, you know what? We're capable, as the stats show, to actually just play better than that in the second half and get a reaction. And that's what happened, to be fair to Ollie. Yeah, because second half, we were right at it. The intensity was there. The passing was there. We won the penalty early. Then we obviously got the second really early, and we were just cruise control after that.
I think a few things that really did improve our second half performance was Paul Pogba upped his game massively. Thought he had a brilliant second half. I think McTominay and Fred both played better second half. First half, I don't think Fred really had that much of a bad game. I think he had something like 17 ball recoveries. I think he did his defensive work well. We know he can't control the midfield. My problem with McTominay is he's in there to kind of do the same thing as Fred, if not control the midfield a little bit more, because I don't think he has the same talent as Fred at nicking the ball back off people. But what I saw from him a lot in the first half was getting beat and fouling. And I didn't really see him getting forward and controlling the play. I did second half a lot more. But at the same time, I don't blame Ollie for picking them, because who else have you got? Matic can't play that role because not controversial anymore. I much prefer Pogba in a more attacking role. I think he controls the game a lot more, adds more to the game in that sense. And the only other options left he's got is McFred. So who else is he meant to play? God, don't let me tell you, like, we need to buy CDM in the summer. I think the fact that we've not even really been linked to many is worrying. For me, that would be the first purchase I'd be buying, because I think it'd improve the team so much. Like Louise and McGinn in the first half were controlling the midfield more than our McFred was. And that shouldn't be happening from a team like Manchester United. I completely agree with that. But who do you expect Ollie to pick? And you know what? They did improve in the second half and we ended up winning the game, and it is due to the talent that we've got. Don't get me wrong, Pogba improved, even Bruno improved, Greenwood with that goal, but that's because we are Manchester United. We've got a higher calibre of players and we managed to work the ball a lot better and stop giving it away as much. And even though Rashford didn't have the best game, he provided that cross, and he provides good crosses from the right hand side, but then he's so much better at cutting in from the left hand side. So it's a hard one with Rashford. But ultimately, like you said, second half FC, the whole team stepped up. I don't think we were absolutely amazing. It wasn't our best game, but they all stepped up, and that is usually what happens with us. But I think we're a few signs off. We see that McFred has to cover the centre halves. We see that in games like this. That's why they're picked. That is why they're picked. And then we see Greenwood, should he be playing a striker? He's very good as a right-hand side forward. We could do with a little bit more creation on the wing. Maybe look at getting a right winger in. And then obviously CDM, massive, massive thing, because we need someone who can do McTominay and Fred's job into one role. And even further than that, because I don't think any of them can really control a midfield from that base. We need a CDM who's got Fred's ball recovery and tackling ability and the ability to bring the ball out and make the right passes and link up with Bruno and Pogba. That is, I'm going on about it for so long, and I really hope Manchester United fix that part of the game, because that is huge. It's massive in the way we give the ball away. It's massive in the way we progress off the pitch. It's massive in the way of the tempo of the game. It really, really does come down to that. We see people like Fernandinho, Fabinho, even like there's so many players in the Premier League, even that control the ball from that part of the pitch. And I don't think we have one of them. We had it in Matic, but he's kind of getting on now and he can't do that for us anymore. So that's what I think we need to bring back into our team.
Yeah, for sure. It is a big area that it keeps happening. The mistakes keep coming from that area, and you kind of stop looking at McTominay and Fred and blaming them. It's not they're being asked to play there every single game.
It should be.
How do you see the rotation side of things now? Because there's a game on Tuesday, super quick. We've managed to win today, which is brilliant, to secure pretty much second place. Hopefully go and do the business against Leicester as well, but that team's probably going to look a lot different.
Yeah, I think we've realised now that his strong team was out to beat Aston Villa, get the points there. Probably going to be a second 11 against Leicester, and then he's going to go strong to win the Liverpool game again, which you can't blame him for. 3 games in the space of a week. We always complain about rotation. We know the drop-off that it has, but it's got to be done. It's impossible to play 3 games in a week with the same starting 11. I think you're going to see the likes of maybe Juan Mata come into the team, Donny van der Beek, possibly Axel Tuanzebe can get a go at centre-half. I know he's not had much game time, but what do you expect these players to do? I mean, we know We know Lindelof and Maguire play a lot of games, but we see Maguire at the end of this game. Like, is it getting a little bit too much now? So he's played well for us in the past. It might just have to be done. We've got second place, and give these players a chance to go out there and kind of say to Ollie, look, this is what I'm offering to the team, and could I possibly get into it? The times that I have seen him, I don't think anyone's really challenging for that first team spot, but this is what having a squad's about. This is what rotation's about. It does have to be used. It really does. I don't think you can see Aaron Wan-Bissaka getting a rest because I think he's massively important to our team. Like today again, he's got flaws in his game, don't get me wrong. He could get to the byline a lot more and get a cross in. That is what I really want him to improve on doing. But every other aspect of his game is top quality for a right back. The way he covered that Lindelof mistake by that challenge, wow, that you don't see any other right backs really doing stuff like that. His link-up players got a lot better as well with the likes of the midfielders. He's managing.
He has improved with that, actually. I'll agree with that.
The ball better. His touch has got better somehow, which I didn't think.
I've been one of his biggest. I'm one of his biggest critics in terms of how he is on the ball. And I'm not. I can say the link up and the decisions that he's making to keep possession of the ball. I've seen him improve on that. I still think just as a natural footballer, the first thing for him is not comfortable on the ball. That's just how he is, which is fine. That's just how he is. I don't think he'll
ever get to that level either.
Yeah, but he is definitely improving. And like you said, it's about looking at how important they are to your team. It's not always about saying, "Oh, he doesn't do this and that," and having an agenda. I agree with that, because the same thing with Harry Maguire. Look, like we can all have our opinions on Harry Maguire, especially early on this season. But one thing you have to say is that we are a better team with him in it. We are, and he could be a massive miss. He could be a big miss. It will be a big miss.
A massive miss. I've seen Maguire improve a lot over the last few months. I feel like he's commanding a lot more. He's talking more. He's talking to the ref more, which I think is massive if you're a captain of Manchester United and as well a centre half. I mean, we've seen the likes of Vidic do it before. We know how it should be done, and he's not up to that level yet, but he's massively improved. The price tag wasn't his fault. And do you know what? I've not seen him make a defensive error in a very long time. One thing I think he could add to his game is obviously the heading off corners. That's what we kind of thought we were getting with him. But defensively, over the last few months, you can't criticise him. You really cannot. But as again, saying about rotation, Luke Shaw today, he's so well down that left-hand side. Do you know what he's got really good at? He's got really good at making decisions when he gets to that left-hand side byline. He knows when to cut in and he knows when to pass it off. It's very little you see him lose the ball down that side, which is kind of different to Wan-Bissaka in that sense. He really can keep hold of that ball and drive into the box. And we saw the other night, it's hard for these players because they're not getting game time. You've got to realise when players aren't playing regularly, they're not going to be as good as your first-team players that are in the motion of playing. But Tellez, again, was a massitive drop-off. But I think, Leicester, you've got to use him. We bought him for a reason, and it was to challenge Shaw. And let's be honest, he's not a bad backup left back to have. I think you've got to use him. Luke Shaw's playing all these minutes. We know about his injuries in the past. He's got to be used. And I think, you know what, possibly Matic could come into the midfield as well. I think
he has to. I think he has to against Leicester.
I'd like to see Pogba play again if he could possibly do it, because I think
Ricky said that.
He's really come into the team and he offers so much. I think Bruno definitely needs a rest, but Pogba's performance today, like, even though he didn't do like get goals and assists massively, I think he got an assist for the penalty, which he did really well to win as well, to get us back into the game. His overall influence on the game was really good. Coming in from that left-hand side, again, players couldn't get near him when they had the ball. Villa midfielders, when they got close to him, he'd just do a skill, get past them. And what he does is he drives into space and opens up space for other players to get into to receive the ball, which is massive. That is massive for us, because as we've seen before, that's something that we really do struggle with, retaining possession and gaining space. And I think him playing in a more attacking role really offers us that. And I think if he's playing in there with the likes of Van der Beek, Matic, you can kind of almost keep, it's not going to be the same as Bruno playing, don't get me wrong, but you can kind of keep that quality up. I think either one of Bruno and Pogba does need to play, or else I think there's little chance of really challenging for the game, personally. And I think Pogba should play and Donny should play in.
Do you think Pogba's playing his best football?
Yeah.
Since he's come to the club?
He's had a few very good games that we've seen, like that City game that he played. But on a consistent basis this year, he's playing his best football. And I do think it's because we've seen him play in a more advanced role, and I like him from the pivot, because I don't think anyone can control the ball the way he does. But he has got little mistakes when he's in that pivot. He could give the ball away. Whereas if he's playing in a more advanced role and he gives the ball away on the left-hand side in the final third, no one's worried, because you've got all that time to get back. He's allowed the freedom to play his football, and his football is amazing football to watch. The way he plays with the ball at his feet, his physicality to push players away from him without fouling. I think he's got everything that a world-class footballer needs. I really, really do. Excellent shooting technique, great ball vision. And I don't even think we're seeing the best of what he could possibly do for us. I really hope we can hopefully win the Europa League and he signs on and he keeps building that partnership with the likes of Cavani, Bruno. We've not even spoke about Cavani today. And I think you're really going to see the best of Paul Pogba going forward because one, he looks like he's enjoying his football. Two, he's realised the influence he can have on his team and what he needs to do to have that influence. And three, he's got the trust of the manager and I don't think he's really had that big of a trust before. And we've seen him speak about Mourinho, we've seen him speak about Ollie. I think he really does feel trusted by Ollie, and you can't criticise him. He's getting the best football out of Paul Pogba. That's what Ollie's doing. And I've just seen as well on Twitter that now he's got the most point tally per game from the managers we've had over the last 4 managers we've had. So do you know what? There is improvement there. Yes. Did we struggle in the first half and the play was sloppy? Yes, it was. But did we come back and manage to win it? Yes, we did. And that's what ultimately matters at the end of the day.
Yeah, I agree. And lastly, first, just before we finish off, Cavani, it's almost like we're just running out of word. Like there's no more words to say just how good he is. So it's like, yeah, Cavani, we know, like sort of thing, innit? Like that's what it's getting like because he's just so valuable. But who was your man of the match?
It's a hard one because I think Wan-Bissaka and Pogba stuck out for me, but I'm going to go with Pogba because I think his overall influence was mega on this game. I think without him, we would have struggled to get the ball. How do you call it? The transitions that we did get. That's what you say. And yeah, lastly, to touch on Cavani, I was a massive Martial fan and I still am. I still think he has some sort of role to play in this team, but he's really come in and shown how much we have missed a centre forward. The way he attacks the ball in the box and his runs he does, it's different levels. I think over time as well, the more, as like I said, the more chemistry he gets with the forwards, we've seen it happening. He's coming into massive form now, and that's going to be big for us in games like these. I think it's sad that we've not been able to, especially with the City loss that we saw yesterday, been able to just kind of get over the line because we've seen results have gone against us, but then you look at it and think we have scraped results as well. So it is one of them, but hopefully with Cavani, our team, we've got more of a goal threat, which we have, and he offers something different. And I do think Rashford and Greenwood are learning off him more and more, and it's great to see. And I hope he actually signs that contract for another year because I don't think that's happened yet, has it?
He needs to, yeah, he needs to. I think it's gearing towards that, though. You look at how he's playing, and surely if we win something as well, go again, play at the highest level.
The Premier League's like the best level you can play at, but yeah, Paul Pogba for me very much anyway.
Well, there's a game on Tuesday, so I'll see you then.
It'll be mad quick turnaround, but we'll probably see a different group of players, which will be kind of nice. We've got top 4 now, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. See you then.
See you then.